working on the Eagle Talon. And also what I learned, I think, from the guy who's supposed to make it work is a lot of the wiring needs to be cleaned up, so that's fair. And, you know, there are parts where the tape came undone. I don't know if you can see that. There's parts where the tape came undone. And so I'm just gonna resolder those and put heat shrink on them. You know, things like here. And then the other thing I'm gonna do is put on noise filtering when I try to crank it over. So hopefully that helps. This was a painful experience, so I'm documenting it. So the circuit that I made in a couple videos ago, the ASD relay needs to ground out, right? And then what I think was confusing when this relay all came apart was couldn't figure out where the wires go, because this black, which is a ground wire, has 12 volts coming out of it, which is obviously in parallel with this pink wire because they're wired to the same connector. So I was trying to figure out, well, which one's ground? Well, when you activate this switch, then the switch grounds out, which pulls any current that is in this wire to ground. So you need to send 12 volts to the opposite side, which is controlled by the fuse here, and then a clean 12 volts goes from here to the red. And the red is the crank sensor and the ECU power. Exhausting. Okay, well, I feel like I've been here before, but I covered up some exposed wires and heat shrunk a lot of it because I'm smarter now, apparently. If that would zoom in. And I think I'm gonna try doing some noise, what is it called, filtering? Yeah. Noise filtering didn't work. Now I get error code 26 and it just steadily loses sync, which that's a pattern. So at least you know that noise filtering doesn't help. And so turn it off, or wherever it is. There it is. Yeah, it's off. Didn't work at all. In the manual, it says 420A is especially hard to noise filter because the uneven tooth pattern. And the other thing that was really annoying is I started blowing the fuel pump fuse. And then I don't know why. I traced all the wiring and I didn't find anything bad. I put it back together and then the fuel pump was fine. So I don't think noise filtering is it. I got in contact with well, some people at the car meet, and various people have different opinions, and one of them who probably knows what he's doing, he says just mess with the fixed timing a little bit so you get it right. So I can live with that. That would make sense because it sounds like it's out of time. So we've got 10 degrees. Let's see how that goes. Still just desyncing. Seems like it's going in the right direction. I've got a theory. So it looks like when I'm cranking, the voltage goes down, which is what happens when you crank, but like maybe the fact that the gauges are on isn't helping. Okay, I've got a theory. Maybe the other stuff in here is taking some of the power, and normally in a car when you're cranking, everything turns off. So I'm gonna get a relay. I did not get a relay. I just unplugged the fuses of the items that I thought were taking up voltage, and there was no difference. I'm really committed to the idea that the computer's bad, because I thought it should just work. But I was told that even though I have a Hall sensor, that I can adjust the VR pots that are in here, and maybe that'll help. And the other thing that I'm willing to try is just put on the old ignition system with the coil pack instead of coil on plugs. And kind of the reason that I'm more interested in that is because the company, DiyAuTune, even though I'm out of warranty, they really want to charge me an arm and a leg to see if this is broken or not. And I feel like if it's broken, then, you know, that's almost the price of a new computer. So that's just not fair to me. So I'm going to take it apart, see if I can adjust the VR pots. I hope it's that. I hope it's that so much. I adjusted it forward. Look. I adjusted it forward, and it just kept desyncing until it eventually just didn't read any RPM. So now I'm bringing it back from what it was, and it almost wants to go. All right, that's some progress. I think one more. I think this will be it. Oh my gosh. Just desyncing like crazy. Well, it doesn't run well at all. It still desyncs the same, but it runs. Like, I don't understand. Whatever. At least it runs. All right, I put a 1K resistor in between the power and the signal on the crank. Let's see how it goes. This type of circuit, by the way, is called a buffer circuit. Wow. Wake up. All right. Oh, gotta turn on the fuel pump. That's all it was. Sweet. Well, so besides my gauge cluster not working, my oil pressure works. That's boost, but that, I don't think I was making any boost. I didn't do that. Maybe the fuel pump's going bad. Anyway. problem was. Despite the computer being built for 420A, it was not built for a 420A. Thanks, DIY AutoTune.